Okay, so for our sample program, our example of the Hello World PHP program, I'm running this on a 2008 R2 Windows server that's running Internet Information Services 7 web server and with PHP preprocessor installed. So this demonstrates the versatility of PHP in that this code, this very web page, will easily execute or be displayed from an Apache server, as it is here with the IIS server. In the PHP file, in the HTML code, this is all standard HTML document header, and we won't discuss that. But within HTML body tag, we've embedded our PHP code. And you can see with the PHP opening tag and the PHP close tag, and then within that I have a single PHP statement, echo hello world. And notice that my code is well spaced, it's easy to read, it is well commented. This is what the style of code that you should try to attain. Something that's easily readable and is well documented for anyone, including yourself, to come back to 3 months from now, 6 months from now. You've forgotten what you've written, so you need some way to easily be able to get back into the rhythm of the code and potentially either add to it or make changes to it, and all of that is simplified with some good commenting. So we've got this file. I've named it PHP course underscore example one. Notice .php. This is a PHP file. Contains HTML, but we need to signal to the PHP preprocessor that this file needs to be, there's something in this file that needs to be translated, and this PHP needs to be rendered into HTML for transmission to the browser. So I've saved this, and I come over here to my Firefox browser, and I went to, again, this is all local for me, so I'm not on a hosting environment, although I could be. I'm not on a hosting environment, so I go to localhost, my directory under the web server, and the actual file that I want to display. And there we go. We get our hello world. Again, this is the proof of concept for you to be able to, not necessarily that it's a challenge to write the PHP code, but this first exercise that you're going to do, that this example sets forth for you, is the ability to transfer the PHP file to a web host, to a web server that has a PHP preprocessor that will take that file and render the HTML that can be displayed in a web browser. So how do we go about creating these HTML files? Well, however you're doing your HTML development now, you can continue with that. Most of the development environments, especially the commercial ones, will recognize PHP code within an HTML document. And for the paid development environments, Dreamweaver and some of the others, the feature sets differ wildly. So you can pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars for a development environment for HTML, PHP development, or you can pay nothing. There are many open source IDEs. We refer to the development environment as an integrated development environment. There are plenty of open source options that you can choose from. I leave that to you to explore, but minimally, a PHP developer really only needs a good text editor and a way to move the files from your development environment onto a host that has a PHP preprocessor and a web server, and can be queried for the web page by a client. And that's it. That's all you need. So I like to do my PHP development with Notepad+. It's as simple as that, and a simple FTP client that'll push my file onto the server, the host server. Now, another thing that's really important, just to suggest a best practice, is that PHP, like many languages, ignores white space. The extra space in our programs is ignored. It has no meaning to the language. So there's therefore no reason not to have your code well spaced, indented, making it easier to read. And that's the key, making it easier to read. And then within that, to have some explanation of what your code's doing and where that explanation can be completely ignored by the PHP processor. We refer to this as commenting the code. And in PHP, there are two styles for commenting code. One is a comment that goes from the comment mark, to the end of the current line. And the other style is a comment that marks a block of lines, or even a single line, but marks a block of lines. And you see those there, the // from wherever that is on a line, the // will cause the PHP preprocessor to ignore anything that comes after that until it reaches the end of the line. And then the / splat and splat / would mark some grouping of lines, and potentially even just a single line, as a comment to be ignored by the PHP preprocessor. So to get you some experience, and mostly to get you to demonstrate and to prove that to yourself that you can create an HTML file with embedded PHP, move that onto a web server, and then display it on your browser, we have our first exercise. And in this exercise, we'd like you to create a HTML page, a web page, that contains a PHP code, and in that to display or echo your name. Say, hello, whatever your name, welcome to the world of PHP. It's just a simple echo command. Then transfer that file onto your web server and call that file from your browser to display it from your web server. Now remember that when you're writing this exercise, that your file will not end in HTML. We need to tell the web server that it needs to pre-process this file with the PHP preprocessor. So your file, what used to be your HTML file, will now end in .php. So good luck.